When I was a kid growing up in the 90s, there was this Halloween movie marathon on one of the studios. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was 13 days or 13 nights of Halloween. And I remember they always played horror movies. And a lot of times they would play a lot of the classics and things that people were super familiar with that had always been on television. And once in a while there'd be something new. And so I grabbed 13 movies here. Now there's some things in here that either I haven't revisited in a really long time or it is new to me for the first time ever. But there's some classic movies here that I watch all the time. So we're going to dive into those, and that's going to be my movie marathon. But every year on the 31st, I do watch these 3 movies, so that's going to be part of that. So I have the 13, then I have the bonus movies that I'm going to be watching on Halloween. And then throughout the season, sprinkled in, I have these 3 classic movies that I've watched every single year since I was a kid. And that's why, because there's nostalgia for me. There's growing up with these movies, they're classics, then being able to share them with my family and my kids. And so I'm going to be revisiting these this year. And so as an added bonus, 2 bonuses this video here. And the first one here for the bonus, family-friendly, spooky type movie is Ghostbusters. Classic comedy, you have the ghost, you have the comedy, you have a classic cast here. If you've never seen this one, I do highly recommend it. But you have the 4 guys, they get together, they catch ghosts. It's great. You can't go wrong with this movie. I think overall it's a perfect film. Now, the next one here is something, it's wacky, it's goofy, and maybe it's not for everybody, but it's, again, nostalgia, something I grew up with, and it is Ernest Scared Stupid. If you've not seen this one, there's a troll, it gets locked up, it's snatching children, they don't kill it, but they bury it, they lock it away, and many years later, Ernest lets the troll out. And then, as the troll, you see the troll costume and everything. I always thought it was very iconic, but then years later I found out that the troll costumes were actually recycled costumes from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is another fantastic horror movie that I really do love. But this one here, it has all the nostalgia. It is a Halloween movie. Absolutely love this one. Going to be revisiting this year with my daughter, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Another bonus, again, is another nostalgia film. I remember this being on TV every Halloween season, and it's something that I've grown up watching, but then I've shared it with my kids as well. And so this is something that I don't think we watched it last year. So Double Double, Troil and Trouble with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Now it is stuck on DVD, as I think every single one of the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen films are, including the ones they did later that were in theaters with Warner Brothers. Those are also stuck on DVD, because I know all my kids have gone through phases of watching and liking these Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen films, and we've gotten rid of most of them, but we've kept a few, and this is one of them, and it's stuck on DVD. If you've never seen it, you have the sisters, they go visit their aunt. She's kind of a mean old miser type lady, very definitely Scrooge-ish, but we find out she's a witch. She locked her sister away, which was the good aunt, and everyone thinks that she just ran off or disappeared over these many years. She's actually locked in a mirror, and these sisters do everything they can do to get her out. And again, I don't think it's any more than just a TV movie, but there is nostalgia for me, and I do like it. But now diving into these 13 movies, and like I said, generally some of them are perfect for Halloween, some of them are in that horror element, but in the spooky season, in that thing, I do like to watch a little bit of more thrillers and stuff that's not necessarily for Halloween. Number 1 is Repo Man with Emilio Estevez, and if you've never seen this one, I think it's an excellent film. Emilio Estevez kind of has a chip on his shoulder, and as he's going through, he kind of accidentally gets this job being a repo man, and then as he becomes this repo man, they decide they have to repossess this one car, and people that look into the trunk, there's a glowing green light that comes out of it, and then they just kind of get vanished, turned to dust, gone. All that's left, I think, was shoes. And so that happens throughout the film, and it's just an interesting one. And it has to do, I think there's aliens, I think that's what it is. So I'm going to be revisiting this one, and I think it's a high recommend, but I think it's also perfect for this time of year, even though generally it doesn't fit your typical Halloween horror spooky season movie. I think this is a great one you should give a chance. Number 2 is a movie I think, again, perfect for this time of year, but it's something I haven't seen in over 30 years. So I'm going to love revisiting this one, and it is The Omen. So basically you have Damien, the son of Satan, and it's that type of movie. And I'm looking forward to this because I picked up all of the Omen films, and I'm going to do this marathon, but I'm going to be watching this one as part of my 13 spooky nights of Halloween. So really looking forward to that one. Number 3 is one that stars Roddy McDowall, and it's Hell House, or Legend of Hell House. And this one here, it's a haunted house, and it has a spooky vibe to it. I love it. It's a slow burn type movie, and it's ghosts. You have ghosts, and so there's somebody that's investigating this entire situation, and they spend the night, and they see the ghosts. It's something that, another high recommend, but it might not be for everybody because it is a slow burn, but I do love this one. Now, number 4 is something that makes my top 5 favorite films of all time. So I've talked about it to death in many other videos, but it is Bram Stoker's Dracula. I absolutely love this one. Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder. I don't think you can go wrong. It is the classic Bram Stoker's Dracula tale. Dracula comes to England. He finds his long-lost true love from a long time ago in a new lady, and he tries to seduce her, and it's just a great film. Absolutely love this one, and it's something that I revisit often throughout the entire year because it is one of my all-time favorites, but perfect for this time of year. Number 5 on the list is The Howling. Now, this is something I haven't revisited in about 5 years, but really looking forward to watching it again this year. And if you've never seen The Howling, this is a Joe Dante film that has always been considered one of the best practical werewolf transformation special effects ever. It's always made that list. People have talked about it forever, and so that's something I've always heard about this. But I remember watching this when I was a kid, and I remember watching it must have been a TV edit, because as I bought this Blu-ray and I revisited it, it's kind of surprised me. So the main lady, she gets cornered in this movie theater, but the movie theater is an adult film theater, so there's an adult film playing in the background, and it's a little graphic, and that's totally fine, but this is definitely not a family film. And then that memory of being attacked plays throughout the rest of the film. There's flashbacks, and again, I didn't remember any of that stuff, and in the flashback she sees the adult film again, and so that's just a constant thing that's being pushed out there. But it was just weird. I really did not remember that, but man, I do highly recommend it. It's just a great werewolf story. Number 6 on the list is We Summon the Darkness. Now, this one here is something that if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you'll probably remember, like, that whole satanic panic, and that's kind of what they're playing off of on this film. And so you have these church girls, but you don't really know that at first. They have these church girls that are connected to, they're like, one of their fathers is the pastor of this like giant mega church, but they have this whole plot where they're doing satanic rituals, but they're all fake. They're fake satanic rituals to try to scare people and scare the population and going to the church and giving them more money. It's this whole crazy convoluted plan, but they're doing it. And so his daughter and her friends are then killing these people in these satanic rituals to then put more money into the church and turn more people to the church. But it's a wild imaginative movie. I really enjoyed this one, liked the story on it, and it's something I enjoy revisiting, especially in the fall. I think it's perfect for that. So this is something, it stars Johnny Knoxville, but he plays the pastor of the girl, but it's just a wild story. Number 7 is another werewolf movie, but I just recently picked it up. I tried watching it earlier, and I didn't get to do that. So this is going to be part of my movie marathon where I'm watching it, and there's 2 in here. So I'm just going to watch the first one, knock that out, and then I'll get to the second one later. But we're talking about Wolf Cop. From what I understand, it is what it is. It's a cop that becomes a werewolf, and then people know that he's a werewolf. So looking forward to it. I think it's just dumb fun, but something that I love the trailer. I think this is great. And number 8 is another werewolf movie, but this is one I've seen a million times. I grew up watching it. I remember the first time I did see it, I asked to stay up late because it was on television. And so then I watched it, and I've loved it ever since. And this one here, it's a Stephen King story. So, you know, out of all the Stephen King adaptions, when I was a kid, like, everyone talked about them. They talked about It and The Shining and all these great films. But this is the one that I always went to, and it's Silver Bullet. Now you have Gary Busey's in this film, Corey Haim. I think this is just a classic werewolf story. But if you've never seen this one, Corey Haim is in a wheelchair, and his uncle, Gary Busey, is a little, not off his rocker, but a little wild. He's a great uncle, and then he gives him this like motorbike wheelchair, because he was in an electric wheelchair in the beginning, and then he gives him this like crazy powerful motorbike one. It's great. But then there's this werewolf, and it's killing people throughout the entire town, and Corey Haim sees it. He actually even wounds the werewolf at one point, and so nobody really believes him. His sister finally does believe him, and then everyone just thinks there's a mass murderer in town. But yeah, this is a great film. Highly recommend it. And number 9 is a Christopher Lee. Natasha Kinski is in this movie as well, but it's I don't know if this is a Hammer film. Was this a Hammer? Yeah, it is. This is a Hammer film, and it's To the Devil a Daughter. So this one here, somebody uncovers a plot where this evil priest is trying to impregnate this teenage nun to then bring demons out. It's a wild movie. Really enjoyed it. And if you've ever seen the modern movie Immaculate, very similar in story, but I think this one is absolutely amazing. A little bit of a slow burn, but I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more than Immaculate. But high recommend if you've never seen it. And I think all those Hammer films were absolutely classic, and you can't go wrong with a Christopher Lee film. But again, with that slow burn, it might not be for everybody, but this is, I think, a high recommend for me. Number 10 is a vampire film. And all growing up when I was a kid, like, I was really into vampires. And so I have a lot more vampire movies under my belt than anything else. But this is something that, it's an odd one because it was directed by Wes Craven and it stars Eddie Murphy. And we're talking about Vampire in Brooklyn. I think this is an excellent black comedy or dark comedy, however you want to say it. But excellent film, and it goes a little underrated. It's a perfect 90s time capsule movie. You know, the jokes, everything about it just really embodies that. So you have the classic vampire story where the vampire comes from another place to America, you know, instead of England, and then Eddie Murphy is the vampire, and then he finds his bride. He finds the woman that he's in love with, that he always was in love with. So it just is a play on that classic Dracula story. Absolutely love this film. High recommend. And it's just a fun comedy. Now, number 11 is another horror comedy, and I do enjoy horror comedies. I think that's where my favorite part of horror is, in the horror comedies. And this one here is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. And I just think it's just absolutely fun. So in this, you have these two hillbillies, and you have these preppy kids, and they kind of meet up. And there's this story about this inbred cannibal family or whatever. And so they're afraid. They tell the story, and they're afraid. They're afraid of these hillbillies, but they're perfectly harmless. And so all these preppy kids end up dying in their fear of these guys by accident. And so I just absolutely love it. And there's a twist at the end, but yeah, high recommend. I think it's just an all-time, if you're looking to laugh this whole spooky season, this is a high recommend for me. Now here's a newer one. It's a newer movie that I've come to really enjoy, and it is Don't Breathe. Now I watched it the first time. I think I only watched it once. I only watched this movie once, but then there was a sequel to it. And I watched the sequel, and I didn't love the sequel. But the first one here I thought was absolutely fantastic, and it's Don't Breathe. Now, if you've never seen this one, I think it's Stephen Lang who's in that. Yeah, Stephen Lang. So Stephen Lang plays this character who's blind, and his daughter is killed by, I'm pretty sure it was like a drunk driver or something. So is killed, and then they live, I want to say Detroit. It's in this place where there's like pretty much nobody lives. All the houses are abandoned. He stayed in his house, but all the houses are abandoned. He's blind, and he gets a ton of money from that accident that killed his daughter. But then he actually, we find out he kidnapped that girl, and he's got her in the basement. But nobody really knows that. And these young kids, they go to try to break into the house to get the money, but even in his blindness, he's still a badass, and he fights them off. It's an interesting story. Really love this one. High recommend, and looking forward to the revisit on this. And again, it's not really, I wouldn't say it's a horror movie, but I think it fits for the spooky season. And the next one is, number 13 is a movie that, again, I think this is 100% family friendly. I think it's super fun. I've been watching it since I was a kid. It stars Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher. It's just a great overall fun film. An amazing cast. Corey Feldman's also in here, among many others. But you have The Burbs. This is a movie that I don't think I could live without in my collection. I've had it in some fashion or another, whether it be DVD, VHS, over the many years. And so this one here is something I'll be revisiting. But again, you don't have to watch it during Halloween, but I think it fits during this season. The end of summer, basically beginning of fall. And I've lived in Virginia for the past decade, basically. And it's generally kind of warmer into the fall. It doesn't usually get cold like last Halloween. It was like 90 degrees out. So in this, I've been watching it a little bit later than I normally do. But before then, this would be like an end of summer watch for me, beginning of fall, right before the spooky season. But I'll be watching it again this year. Now, into the bonus. These are the movies that I watch every single year. And this one here, the very first one, it's fairly new, but maybe 10, 15, maybe a little bit longer than that. I don't remember, but it's not super old. I didn't grow up watching this one. And it's Trick or Treat. It's an anthology type movie, but I love the way they do it. You got a great cast here, and just everything about this. One, I think it's a perfect Halloween film, but it's something that I watch every single year now that I found it. And I was one of the early adopters of this, so like I have to try to remember. So I don't remember exactly when this came out, but I joined the Navy in 2009, and so within that time period, 2009, 10, 11, in that range is about the time that I found this film, and I've been watching it ever since. Absolutely love this. This is the 4K, and I think the 4K is absolutely perfect. So if you have a 4K setup, highly recommend picking up a 4K of this one. But man, can't get enough of it. And I'm not an anthology guy. I don't like the anthology stories. There's not too many that I enjoy. This one and Body Bags are like the only ones that really come to mind. But yeah, high recommend. Every Halloween I have to watch that. Also, it's one that I don't think usually comes up on these types of lists for the spooky season, but in general, I find myself watching this without missing a year every single Halloween on Halloween, and it's Scream. Perfect, horror from the 90s, another Wes Craven film, but it's something I've been watching since it came out, and I don't know, I have to watch this every Halloween. Absolutely love it. But yeah, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect for me. Now, the last one is probably no surprise. This is one of my all-time favorite horror films, period. I love the franchise. I'm super into it. I've talked about it a bunch. And it is John Carpenter's Halloween. And I think this is an amazing film. I have many copies of it. I have the new imprint giant box set coming, with the pumpkin and all that stuff. I do love this film. It's one of my all-time favorites. And I have to watch it every single Halloween. And that was my list of 13 movies that I'm going to be watching this spooky season, with a few bonuses. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of any of these, any that you would add. And with that, check out this video right here if you want to see what I watched last Halloween. And with that, remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.